ke olo olo oe. Ho'i mai kuipo, e hele mai ke olo olo oe. Ho'i mai, it's Breakfast with Bob.
Thank you, Poncho Man. How about a round of applause for our man, Poncho Man? He is the best. Welcome back to Breakfast with Bob from Kona and Huggo's on the Rocks. My name is Bob Babbitt, brought to you by Master Spas, SFuels Go Longer, HOKA Let's Fly, deboer wetsuits, Form Smart Swim Goggles, Zoot Sports Original Triathlon Brand, Quintana Roo, Premium Sports, and of course, our Challenged Athletes Foundation. Our next guest, 2022 Ironman World Champion. Give it up for Chelsea Sodaro. That's pretty fun.
What a crowd, huh?
I think they're here for you, not for me.
Well, actually, Bob, someone was asking me the other day, why do we all love coming on Breakfast with Bob? And I said, of course, Bob is very charismatic and fun. We have great conversations. But the main thing is that Bob gives so much back to our sport and our community. And I wanted to bring something for you today because you give so much to us. So I have these special friends and family tanks for race week with my mantra on it. And this one is just for you.
Yes, yes, yes. That's my favorite word, by the way. I love that. Thank you, Chelsea. Only my favorite person on the planet right there. Got me a little teary. So, when we look back at last year, going into this race, I mean, you'd had a really, really good season in 2022, but I still don't think you were on the radar in terms of someone who's going to win the race. In fact, I was talking to one of the pros, and they're like coming back, they're coming out, and they're like, "Who's that?" Race. Did you surprise yourself?
You know, I didn't surprise myself with the actual performance. Like, I really executed my swim, bike, and run in the way that I had trained and prepared to do so. But I never added up. I never did the math of what that might equal. And it happened to be the second fastest time ever on this course, which got me the big W. So I didn't envision crossing the finish line first or running down Elite E Drive for the win or anything like that. So that whole experience took my breath away, of course, and was a surprise. But as far as like specifics of the swimming, biking, and running, I just did what I trained to do.
It was funny. We were talking to Sarah Crowley the other day, and she said they were in a little group on the bike, and I think her coach at the time, Cameron Watt, was screaming at everybody, "Get rid of Chelsea. Drop Chelsea. You don't want her there in the run." And they couldn't, right? You were able to, your cycling had gotten to the point where you could stay with everybody.
Ironman is such a long race. The professional side of the sport is so dynamic, and of course we have to make decisions and be reactive to different moves that are made, but at the end of the day, it's still 140 miles, and you have to endure that, and you can only do what you have prepared to do. So, yeah, I had prepared for a really solid day.
Well, and also, a lot of people probably don't realize you are already at elite level as a runner, right? When you're going to Diamond League events, you're running against the very best people in the world. There was rehabbing from 6 stress fractures and everything else you're going through, swimming and cycling, where your husband, the 359 miler, by the way, said, you know, you're doing so much of this swim, run, ride stuff, maybe like when Jorgensen, you could come from a track background and go do well in this sport.
Yeah, the seed was planted when I was sitting on the couch with an injury watching the Rio Olympic triathlon, and I thought, maybe I could be good at that. And of course, like so many of us, the seed was planted and I got totally obsessed. So it took a couple of years for me to find this long distance stuff, which is the most fun of all of the triathlon. And I feel so lucky to have found a niche and community in our beautiful sport.
And originally you were going to do, because it was Olympics, that was your dream as a runner, it was the Olympics. But we see a lot of these World Cup races, there's really no age groupers there. You go and you, even if you do well in a race, at the end of the day you're in a hotel room and it's hard to sell it, family's not there. Did you enjoy that format, or is that what led you to this?
Yeah, I found triathlon in my late 20s, and I had already been on the track circuit for several years where you're basically traveling around the world with the same group of professional athletes and your whole life is about running and a professional sport. And I kind of arrived at this new phase of life and career where that wasn't so fun for me anymore.
Right.
And I wanted more to life. And I really believe that Kona, the Ironman World Championships, is the pinnacle of our sport. This is where all the eyes are on every single year. This is the race that matters most. It gets the most fan attention, the most media attention, and our whole community, the best that our sport has to offer, shows up here. And that's what I wanted to be a part of.
Could you tell that from when you came here for the first time?
I came here in 2018 before I'd even done a 70.3. I was invited by a training partner. I basically had no money and I scraped together whatever I had to pay to get half of a room at this Airbnb. And from the moment I walked off the plane, I was like, I'm home. And I think that the coaches that were there kept on expecting me to get dropped in all of the sessions, and I just hung in there. And as the week progressed, I just got fitter and fitter and acclimated really quickly to the climate. And my coach pulled me aside during an open water swim. He said, Chelsea, come over here. I thought I was in trouble. And he goes, you could win this race one day.
Wow.
So I think back to that moment and him instilling that in my mind and it kind of becoming subconscious. So much about sport is that belief we have in ourselves, that deep intrinsic belief, and confidence at a superficial level waxes and wanes with all of the challenges that we're presented with, but it's that deep belief in ourselves that matters, and I think that's what I have had since then.
So one of the events last year that told us, okay, well, a couple events that you would be a factor. One is when you get second in a Hamburg, right? Because you run a 3-hour flat and 8:36 first time out, and you're going, okay, I can be great. The other one was Canadian Open, because PTO, it's all these really fast Olympic athletes, and here comes Chelsea storming away through the field to get on the podium. And like you said, confidence is what this thing is all about. When you take that raw speed and bring it to long distance, speed is what matters.
Yeah, last summer it was my first full season after giving birth to my daughter, and I was still very much in this postpartum phase of life, and with kind of each training block that I did, I got a little bit fitter and got my legs under me, but it was really only maybe 2 months before Kona where I had that performance in Edmonton, and I thought, okay, I think I'm kind of coming back. I'm kind of finding my run legs again, and that's what took the longest, actually, is to get that springiness and stride back after giving birth to my daughter.
And let's talk about just coming back after becoming a mom. Very difficult, right? People expect moms, okay, you're a mom now, forget that silly professional athlete thing. Where people wouldn't say that to somebody who's a lawyer or a doctor, I don't think, as much to somebody who's a professional athlete. It's time to move on. Did you hear that?
Yeah, it's been a massive challenge and much harder than I ever expected it would be. And luckily, I have a very close family unit, and they were all really on board with this. And I think I would have quit many times over if it hadn't been for them. But what I learned through postpartum depression and anxiety and all of these challenges, finding help with childcare, was that this country in particular is really not set up for moms. It's really hard to find the resources to get what we need so that we can take on motherhood and our careers at the same time. And I have been really open about this and really vocal, and I'm so fortunate to have such amazing partners. They all have been really open to maternity leave policies, which is incredibly unique in this industry. And I was talking to Canyon actually before, as we were preparing for this race, and they wanted to do a special paint job for my bike to kind of celebrate the win last year. And I said, hey, there's this organization called And Mother, and it was founded by a woman named Alicia Montano. She has been a mentor to me. We were teammates at UC Berkeley. She's an Olympian, World Championship medalist, and advocate her organization and Mother gives grants to postpartum athletes. They lobby and advocate for maternal rights in this country, and they're doing just amazing work. So along with Canyon, we have this incredible rainbow explosion bike with some of my mantras on it. It says, "See it to be it," "Dream maternity," and "Champion and Mother." And we're gonna be giving one of these bikes away in a sweepstakes to donate money to and Mother so they can continue doing their amazing work. It has a really special ceramic speed hibiscus oversized pulley on it. It has special DT Swiss wheels with pink decals. And my partner Wahoo has made like a special wrap for the bike computer, and Win Republic has made this incredible kit for me. So it's going to be loud and proud out on the race course, and I hope that we're going to do some really incredible work with this to give back to an organization that is giving back to moms like me.
How about a round of applause there? Yeah. How do people enter to be part of this?
Yeah, there's going to be a landing page on andmother.org where you'll be able to see all of the information on how to enter the sweepstakes. You could donate as much as $1 to enter, but you will have a higher probability of winning the more money you donate. So if you want to like kick it up a bit, that would be cool. It's a really amazing cause, and I think it also speaks so much to the people that I work with. In sports, our bodies are commodities, and our value is so often placed on our performances and exclusively how we perform on the race course. And I am fortunate enough to be surrounded by partners who know that it's going to be a ride and a roller coaster, but I think they genuinely believe and care about me as a person, which gives me so much freedom and power to do special things like this. And I think actually it helps me enjoy the process and take my performances to a new level.
I love that. So back in the day, I remember when Chrissy Wellington won this race back in 2007, and she goes, "Bob, I just think I have a platform to impact young girls to understand that they can pursue their dreams." I could see the light bulb went off for you as soon as you won as well, because dealing with postpartum, being a mother and trying to be a professional athlete, there's a balancing and a juggling there that's very, very difficult, and you wanted to be an advocate right from the beginning.
I come from a service-minded family. My dad is a high school teacher, my mom is a physician, my husband is a firefighter, my brother is an officer in the Air Force, and I'm an athlete. Which can be a very selfish pursuit, and it takes a single-minded focus on one specific thing. And my dad actually has this quote. My dad and I are very close. He's been a huge part of my athletic journey, and I train in my parents' garage a fair amount, and he keeps all of my like second and third place trophies, and he puts them right in front of where my trainer is. But along with those trophies, there's this quote by Winston Churchill, and it says, "You make a living by what you get, and you make a life by what you give." And I looked at Steve after I won the race last year, and I said, I want to do something really good with this. And triathlon is fun, and it's what I'm good at, but I look at my daughter and what so many other people like you are doing in the world, and it's more than just sport.
It is, but it is the best sport there is, because on race day, it's really you against you, right? The competition you felt on the track is different than the competition with the professional triathletes that you'll see on Saturday, right? You guys can be friends and comrades and still want to bury them on race day.
Absolutely. This is the best sport in the world. It's the hardest sport in the world, and I think we have so much mutual respect for each other, from the very pointiest end to the final finisher at midnight. We're all out there enduring the same challenges, maybe just at slightly different speeds, and of course, when I'm competing, I want to rip everybody's heads off. But At the end of the day, it's such a gift to have the health and strength and opportunity to do this.
So we always talk about how the person who wins this race, Jan Frodeno, became the spokesperson for the sport, right? And Paula Newby-Fraser and the whole legacy, Dave Scott, Mark Allen, all of the winners here, more so than the Olympics, really becomes the de facto spokesperson for the sport. And you've embraced that.
I'm just one person, but I do have a voice and I do have something to say, and I would just encourage everyone to know that you matter and your voice matters, and if you want to make a difference, you have the power to do that.
I don't think it could be any better in terms of the sport, having you as our defending champion coming here with 2,000 women participating in this race, with a lot of those being moms. How has this week been for you? I'm guessing it just fills you up with love.
I'd love to tell you a story, actually.
Yes.
I was heading out for a swim on Saturday, I think, and I saw this woman with her family, and I hope she won't mind me sharing this, actually. She was breastfeeding in the water, as you do when you have a baby. Sometimes you just have to feed your baby in the water. And I go, "Are you racing this weekend?" And she goes, "Yeah, I'm racing." And I qualified when my baby, I think he was 4.5, 5 months old, and she strapped her pump to her bike so she could pump and transition. And I am so inspired by her and all of the moms and all of the women here. I am just in love with the energy that we have on the island right now. I think it's amazing, and we have so much girl power, and it's going to be an epic day on Saturday.
It's going to be unbelievable. And let's talk a little about the women's field, because now we have a Taylor Knibb jumping in, right, who's never done a marathon, never done a full Ironman, is coming off 70.3 Worlds. You've seen her up close and personal. She's the real deal, and I think she's going to be a lot of fun on race day.
Absolutely. I think there are many formidable competitors who are lining up on Saturday, and I think it's going to be a really exciting day.
The other thing is, I think that people were surprised last year, and I think there'll be a concerted effort on the bike to go, where's Chelsea? Where's Chelsea? We want to make sure that she's nowhere in the ballpark. But you've been riding your brains out. It seems like you're more than ready for the challenge.
I think that this has been probably my favorite training block ever, actually. I just have had so much fun, and there has been so much joy. I have this really incredible team of people around me. My husband has been with me full-time the past several months, helping me prepare. My coach, Dan Plews, was out here in Kona with me a few weeks ago, along with Paul Newsome, who is this world-class swim coach from Swim Smooth, and my strength coach, Matt Pindola from Pindola Project, who I think you'll be chatting with tomorrow. So I have these incredible dudes who are all in on women's sports and finding out how good I can be, and I'm just curious.
So winning once here is really special. Defending your title is difficult. What would it mean to you to win here for the second time?
This year has been really hard. It's been a huge challenge on a number of levels, so more than anything, I'm just happy to be here again and happy to have another opportunity. Of course, I love to win, but I didn't get into this to win. I got into this to find out how good I could be, and at the end of the day, that's always my approach, to see what's possible for my mind and my body out there, and Saturday will be another test of that.
Have you been surprised, because when you win this race, like we talk about, it's the most important title in the sport, but when you look at your sponsor list this year compared to last year, a little bit different. Have you been surprised just how much your life has changed from that perspective in the past year?
I think that I was initially surprised by how many people really cared about the title and how moving it was for some people, and especially women. I really get I have the best fans in the entire world. I feel so lucky for all of the support that I get every day, honestly, and the messages that I get from women, and I really feel like we're in this together.
Yep.
I have the most amazing sponsors, and I feel like they're really in it with me for the long haul. It's not just about this weekend. It's not just about the next race. It's about what we can do over the course of my career, and also how we can make things better for other people and other women in this sport. So I feel super fortunate. I feel so supported, and it's just such a privilege to be in this position at the age of 34. I really have to pinch myself quite often. So it's fun.
I love it. Ladies and gentlemen, round of applause. 2022 Ironman World Champion, Chelsea Sodaro. What a special addition to our sport. Poncho Man, take us out.
It's breakfast with Bob.
Poncho Man!